Good evening. We begin with the local News 8 investigation into charges of voter fraud in Fremont County.
Tonight, we have uncovered 7 counts of felony voter fraud and perjury in the May 2023 election. We have team coverage for you tonight with Seth Ratliff and Stephanie Lucas here in the studio. Starting with Stephanie, who has the primary details on the arrests. Stephanie, what did you find?
Well, Linda, let's begin with some important context. This graphic behind me represents the 405 registered voters that voted in Fremont County Precinct 1 in the May 2023 election. 7 of them, represented in the red, have been arrested for voter fraud stemming from that same election. This means a little under 2% of those voters have been charged with voter fraud in Fremont County. People accused of voter fraud, all charged in Fremont County, have one more thing in common. According to these arrest records, none of them actually live in Island Park. We were first tipped off to the arrests by concerned local News 8 viewers.
I'm sorry?
Almost 10 days ago, I reached out to the Fremont County Prosecutor's Office, Elections Office, and the Fremont County Sheriff's Office to ask if they had heard anything about voter fraud. I was told by all 3 offices I would get a call back. I never did. However, through researching court documents, I uncovered the following information. Christy and David Spenner, Marion and Rodney McKenna, Chad Vanderbeek, Marcy Gifford, and Winter Mickleberry are accused of listing a rental property leasing agency or Airbnb property as the residential address that would make them eligible to vote in the May 2023 Fremont County election. Local News 8 also checked property records and uncovered that each of the accused has a primary address in another city. Cities like Rigby, Ashton, Idaho Falls, and even Harriman, Utah. So what was their motivation? Local News 8's Seth Ratliff and I did some digging, and we found some answers.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. From what we've uncovered so far, the people involved had a motive to alter the results of one local election, the Island Park Auditorium District. In 2023, members of the Island Park community petitioned the county to form an auditorium district, collecting the necessary signatures to place the issue on the May ballot. That measure needed a simple majority to pass, but failed by just 9 votes, 198 to 207. If the measure had passed, the district would have imposed a 5% lodging tax on all qualifying nightly lodging facilities that rent rooms or facilities for 30 days or less. In other words, Airbnbs, cabins, and short-term rentals and storage in Precinct 1 of Fremont County. That money would have then been used to build and fund a new multi-purpose meeting spot for the town of Island Park, and the proposed building would have cost around $3 million.
The community needs a place that we can have meetings, that we can have our clubs and do fundraisers and other things. We have no place right now that is big enough, large enough to have a very much of a meeting at all. We've lost all of those places.
Once again, the measure only failed by a handful of votes, according to the criminal complaint obtained by Local News 8. Each of the 7 arrested individuals used an address that appears to be a short-term rental in Island Park to fraudulently vote in the May 26th election. The probable cause affidavit also includes a litany of excuses for voting in the election. Now, while voting records are private, therefore Local News 8 cannot confirm if the accused voted for or opposed of the district. Historically, property owners have interfered in or falsely voted in elections to avoid tax increases. In one interview, the suspect told police, "Well, sounds like we're getting a community center." All 7 property owners were arrested and charged separately on August 28th, 2025. Stephanie?
And sources in Fremont County tell me there could be more people involved.
So where are these 7 property owners now?
All right. Well, Doug, as for the 7 property owners, they have been let out on bond and are expected back in court on September 17th. Local News 8 will be there and continue to report on any new charges.
Okay, so where does the investigation go from here?
Well, last week I reached out to the Idaho Attorney General and the Secretary of State's offices. Their office managers both said they hadn't even heard anything about it. So we'll reach out again this week. And as a reminder, all suspects are considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
All right, great reporting, you guys. Thank you so much for that story.